Manze, welcome back to yet another episode of Jamba Hydrated. Na leo manze tuko na our fourth guest kwa hii guest series manze. Crispy hapa hivi atajiintroduce. Mimi ni Nyerere. Alafu tuko na
Shompa.
Tena hapa drip tati.
And I'm Christine.
Christine, tuambie more about you. Who is Christine?
So I am Christine Washira. I am Kenyan Canadian, and I am a pension analyst as a career, but I'm also a certified risk manager, and I am an entrepreneur. Business yangu inaitwa Sanaa Zuri.
Oh, yeah, manze mimi nilikujua I think na hiyo Sanaa Zuri. I think Shompa ulimjua pia
Siko kwa event.
Oh, manze so Sanaa Zuri ilikuja vipi?
So unajua nilitoka Kenya kitambo sana. So I came when I was 11. But I've always loved jewelry. Na tangu nikuleta Kenya, Masai Mara, Masai Market, sorry, every time nilikuwa town, lazima tuende Masai Market so I can get some fresh bling, you know. And every time I'd go back to visit, I'd come back and bring my friends things. But like often ndakuwa na stop kwa barabara and say, oh, where'd you get that from? And I'm like, oh, nilitoa Kenya. But I started to realize that the demand here was very high. So around 2017 when I was last there, because I'm like, you know what, let me set a business. And I just, kanza kutafuta my connects and started to bring stuff here, and that's how the business began.
Oh, yeah. Before tuingie kwa biashara, kuna kitu mention, itabidi nimekurudisha nyuma kidogo, alafu tuongee biashara.
Sawa, nirudisha nyuma.
Manze umesema ulikuja hapa ukiwa 11.
Yeah.
Manze ilikuwa aje kukuja to a new country at that age?
Hey, honestly, it was not fun, to be honest. First of all, mimi sikuwa najua nakuja huku. Mamangu kwanza nidanganya tunaenda Mombasa. Kama Mombasa, beach vibes. And then like a month before, she was like, you know what, actually to Canada. And I was like, what? Because in my mind, I didn't even know what to expect from Canada at that age. Unajua sijai sipali nimesikia. Wasa na hamanga States, but tusikiangi Canada sana.
Yeah.
So literally just I've had a month to pack up everything, say goodbye to your family, and then tulikuja winter time kwanza. So tulikuja like November. The first day unaingia kuna snowstorm, sisi tumebeba majacket zile za Gikomba. Zile kubwa. Tukonda kama coming to America. It's like hatuna gari, hatuna anything. Our parents didn't even have jobs or nothing, so we came to start from scratch. Luckily they did my mom got a job really early, so tukanza, things started moving really quick, but it was really hard, especially like assimilating to school. When you're like 11, that's the age where you're trying to move away from your family and know your place in the world, and move more into fit in more with your friends. But I couldn't stand out more. Not only am I black, but I'm also straight from Africa. And to make things worse, this was in 2015. Mean Girls just came out in 2014. So everybody just wanted to chanua me. I'm telling you, people be like, oh, so people just ask me the craziest questions, like, how are you from Africa? Why do you speak English?
What's the craziest question?
Why are you white here and black here?
Oh.
And at that age, we're like, utajibuni.
Yeah, so innocent.
Yeah, and so people in my school had never met any black person, especially a black person from Africa. So the questions were crazy, and at that point, you just want to fit in.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, the one standing out, especially because I'm more of an introvert. And everybody was just bombarding me with, so many questions, and it was very awkward. But eventually I got used to it, as time came by, you assimilate, and you go with the flow.
So you made friends, and after that, take a bus out?
Everything managed to, you maneuver your way around.
True.
You adjust.
Yeah, your time when you ulikuwa class?
Grade
6.
Oh.
So when you come to class 6, kuja November, so I just finished class 6, Kenya. And then now, one of the negative things that I had to now either go a year ahead, because here, shule inaanza September. So it's either I get class 7 or I get class 6. And unfortunately, because I started school too early, about an age,
Oh,
so I had
true,
to go back for another couple of months, which I really did not like. But you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And yeah.
So, like, since moving, like, what was the biggest challenge that you faced?
The biggest challenge, I think it was just accepting change and understanding change in my mind. Because sometimes being that young, I couldn't even understand that. I did for the longest part of my life, of like, till I was 9 years old. So mimi, hakuna venye nilikuwa na understand yenye nimekuja huku, hawa si wajui Kiswahili. Because I thought everybody, that was the norm to me. I was like, how can you not understand what I'm saying? And then even could change like accents, because the way I would speak, I couldn't really understand. So like changing accents and just realizing that what I knew as my world is a very small part of the world. And now I'm in a whole different environment, and adjusting to that was really hard at that age, because if I feel like if I was a bit younger, singekuwa na consciousness sana ya home. So culture shock ingeshika, ingekuwa tu something new. But if I was a bit older, also ingekuwa najijua more, so that ingeni affect. But I was in a very like fragile age where I'm still kind of trying to figure things out. But yeah, I think that was the hardest thing, just trying to understand my place in the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nasa after umeshaingiana kabisa na system, ulikuwa unarudi home often sana hadi ukakuwa na hiyo habit ya kwenda Masai Market, uka develop interest.
And kwenda kama like every other year or so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, na sasa ushafika huko hivi, usha like hizi stuff, ushaona wase hapa hivi pia wana appreciate stuff that ulikuwa unakuja nazo. Sasa hiyo entrepreneurship mindset ilikuja vipi?
Mimi napenda pesa. It's always, you know, it's the motive always. But I've always just wanted to start a business from when I was younger. It's one of my goals. But you know, regular job, business, and then my next thing I want to do is a charity. So it's always just been one of the things that I wanted to do from time. But yes, I'm also very highly motivated by money too. Yeah.
Yeah, so wewe ni a black entrepreneur kwa hii space yenye iko na nini, iko na aina minorities mob tuseme. So inakuwa aje yani ku manage a venture in this space?
It's not as hard as I thought, by the way. The thing is, even within the black entrepreneur space, there's a huge support. So a lot of times I do shows like there's like a black market that usually comes every Christmas. This is before the pandemic. I used to do a lot of shows, pop-up shows where you actually saw things in person. And I met such a nice, beautiful community of people who also sell, and we help each other a lot. We tell each other about each other's shows, and black people do support. And the thing is, my business is geared towards, you know, it's Afro accessories anyway. My customer base is black in the first place, so I don't think my blackness is a hindrance to what I do.
Oh, yeah. So mzee Christy, that you mentioned, mlikuwa mnafanya hizo pop-up shops, lakini pandemic ikakuja, na pia nilicheck uko na website. So unaweza to show when iko aje ukicompare between kufanya hizo show na nini na kuuza online, na pia if COVID ime push towards online. Yeah.
So of course, yes, such a COVID, you can't do the shows anymore. So kila kitu had to be more focused online. And before the pandemic, I did have the online store Bado. So I use Etsy as a platform kuuza. It's a marketplace, so you come to Amazon. The one good thing about it is I don't have to do too much marketing, because you're kind of customers already. People already come there to look for things. So that's what I used to have in the background, but my main thing was pop-ups, because pop-ups you can make much more money because my customers were already in bulk kumoja. So I used to like that much more. That's literally how I spend most of my weekends. So during the week, Nico job, weekend, Nico pop up somewhere. And I also just like to meet my customers, to get their actual feedback and to see the joy in their face when they're getting a product from you. Especially in village, Canada, different areas, and seeing something that reminds you of home is always really like fulfilling to for other people. So I really enjoy doing pop-ups, and I feel like that's even how my name got across more, because of word of mouth from these events that I'd go and meet people in person. But now, because of the pandemic, I had to completely switch my strategy and now start to focus on the online side more, and figuring out how I'm going to go about marketing, as many get to increase social media presence. It was a bit challenging, but it was necessary, because at the end of the day, at least now that we talk about pandemic, at least temporarily, I'm getting more out of the online part because I actually put more work into it. There's actually a program that I'm getting into right now that's sponsored by the government, that they're creating free websites for anybody who has a small business. So I'm working to create my own website now, because it's a bit more professional to have your own site. I'll still keep my Etsy just because you're not generate here, but it's nice to have my own thing that I can kind of have more control over. So that was really nice of the government to do that. It's one of the perks or the incentives that they've given small businesses to keep going through the pandemic. So yeah, I'm working on my personal website right now, but looking forward to doing more pop-ups.
Oh, might consider kukuwa na maybe a space shop yako penye kama weekend ndio unaifungua, wasee wanakuja wananunua hapo hivi.
I would love to do that. Ubaya sasa ni rent Toronto.
Yeah, true.
Finding a good spot to rent. Like rent nyumba yenyewe is crazy enough. You can only imagine commercial space. But luckily, there's a girl in Toronto who, during the pandemic, started to really promote Black businesses. And she got a lot of traction from her Instagram page, because she was just posting a lot of Black businesses in Toronto to get them known. And through her work, now she got a store in Scarborough Town Centre that she actually allows people like small vendors like me to hold space. And I got into her. So actually you can buy some Sanazuri at Scarborough Town Centre in the Black-owned Toronto store. And that's been really nice.
So it's through someone else, but
yes. So she doesn't have any products herself. She just has the store space. Because she was able to get it, and with her connections, she now helps people like me who have small businesses put our stuff in the store. So you come out, I can talk about it too, like
supermarket,
different vendors, they're selling different things.
So she gets a fee from your product?
You get commissions or
25%.
Alafu nimeona like when you are doing like your penance and everything, Joanna Nyerere, there's a bit of activism, activism,
yes.
Like what inspires you? Do you only do like the Black, like I see like the BLM? What other kind of activism do you do?
As a Black person in Canada, you have to be an activist. Your life depends on it, your children's lives depend on it, or at least their livelihoods depend on it. Toronto is very multicultural, but once you step outside of Toronto, everything is very different. I went to school in London, Ontario, and it's very different. Outside of the school environment, and even in the school environment, people look at you different, people see you different, and it's up to us to fight for our space, to make sure that our future generations don't have to go through that racism. And like Nimekuja more recently, and even now Toronto is diverse, but when I first came, like I was telling you before, I was the only Black kid in my school. You stick out like a sore thumb, and I don't want that for my children. I want my children to have a better space, and of course, Black Lives Matter. But even outside of Black Lives Matter, every time you see me, I'll always be rapping either Kenya, I'm Africa somehow, one way or another, because I'm proud of where I'm from.
When ulikuja, your mom alikuwa and have these conversations with you. Wewe mention like hautaki your children maybe wakuje time yenyewe, unataka your children wakuje time yenyewe. kama racism maybe haiko kabisa. Nadhani sisi kama hii generation yenye tunaenda come up with the next generation, tutahave aje hizi conversations na hao watoi.
Literally just honesty. Like I feel like our parents used to really try to shelter us at because wanadhani hatutaelewa. But if you speak to Gen Z or even younger generations, so wanajua already. With all the stuff that's in the media and how the internet is so accessible nowadays, they already know what's out there. So it's up to you to teach them how to go about the system and how to beat the system. And you know, the fact that sometimes some things are stacked against you, but you have to persevere and push through and, you know, be the difference you used to see. Our parents now, at least my parents never talked to me about these things. Because back then their struggle was kutoka ushago, you know, to make it financially, and like if money is the motive, or if, you know, you're chasing the money, is it just look like something small that you can easily ignore. So for them, they never used to understand how I can be affected by someone calling me a nigga, like someone. They don't understand how, you know, social isolation from your race is something that could actually affect you, because their main focus is just soma when a person, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. But for me, as somebody who grew up here, like, for us it's different, because as somebody who grew up with people who like are mostly, you know, not black, I see the disparity, like, you know, the disparities in how we're treated, and that affects me because I know we were together in the same school. I know that you're not any better than I am. I know you're not any different than I am. But there's a bit of an acceptance that Kenyan parents have, that they come on accept, okay, when you focus on your life, you know, don't worry about what they're doing, and they see that there's a difference, but they try not to focus on it. But it's hard for me not to, because minajua what I deserve. I know that we should all be treated equally. So I feel like their generation is different, and I can't really blame them for it, because they had their own struggles and their own things. But now for me, it's like, okay, I don't have that financial burden, at least, you know, financially okay. But now the next step is to make sure that, you know, our children are not only financially okay, but also socially in a place where they can thrive, and emotionally and spiritually too, you know.
Yeah. You've talked about like it affecting you. As a group, we've been talking too much about like, and stressing a lot about mental health. Right. Most of us, like, especially people who come like from back home, we are not like, we don't take mental health seriously. Just the challenges that you face with the transition and everything, did you pass like through, like, did it affect you like mentally, and how did you overcome it?
It definitely did affect me mentally. For the longest time, I think I was depressed, but you don't even know depression up until you learn about it. For the longest time, everyone thought to me nimenyamaza tu siongeangi sana, but I just never used to speak unless spoken to for years. Tangu nikwe, you know, your class 6 up until I got to like maybe grade 10, 11. I was just a very quiet person, because I just was going through so much, and I knew that nobody else could understand me. There were not that many immigrants too. So it's like, and even that, people would tell me certain things that may be kind of racist, but you can't clap back. Because if I clap back, I'm going to offend everybody, even if the book didn't affect me. Like, I remember one time I was in maybe grade 7-ish, some girl came and told me, she's like, oh, I have a joke to tell you. And I'm like, oh, what? She's like, what did God say when he made the first black person? And I was like, what? She's like, oops, I burnt another one. And I'm like, Asa, what do you say? Nikujibu, na nikudis, na diskila. Dalia nitafanya unanyamaza tu. What can you really do in that situation, you know? So I internalized a lot of things, and I feel like the only thing that helped me kind of get through it was actually when I got into university, because that's when I ended up meeting people who are like me, people who are also immigrants who went through the same thing, and they also face the same kind of isolation in their individual high schools. And just talking about it and being able to comfortably speak your truth and having people who understand was really helpful, because it was hard to find that. Because even when I went to high school, I found that there were more black people, but they were also of Caribbean background. So even that, our struggles are different. True. And if not Caribbean, maybe their parents were the immigrants. They're not the immigrants themselves. So I'm Zaliwa Oku. Yes, they go through a struggle, but it's not the same struggle that I go through. So university and linking up with, you know, I joined the African Students Association there and the Black Students Association there, and just having that community of people who actually understand you was really, really helpful.
Yeah. Ulikuwa official, sindio?
Official nini?
Kwa hiyo nini ya
Oh yeah, I was a president at 1 year.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I think we will check here somewhere. Yeah, anyways, nini model ya nini business yako? How do you make the art? How do you do it?
Do you outsource?
I outsource mostly. So I outsource from everywhere. First, with Conventional Lab to Kenya. So I was doing most of the beaded jewelry, my bracelet, my necklaces. And then after, I just started expanding because people started asking me for, you know, specific things, and I was like, you know, I can deliver. If I know, I can see where it's coming from.
When you're outsourcing, do you give like specific design, like this, the design I want, like,
Yes.
or you design others yourself, or like, but you're still outsourcing from the
Yes.
design?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, na nimenotice nilikuwa na check pia kwa website yako jina za like necklaces, so bracelets ziko na African names kama boy. Unatumia criteria gani, and why did you choose that way?
So some of them, it's just something that's going to be eye-catching. But then others is just to show my pride in my country. Most things are either named after cities in Kenya, Kenyan names, you know. Because first of all, Swahili is a beautiful language.
Yeah.
Everybody, even big corporations are stealing from our language. So why shouldn't we capitalize off of it? Safari is indigenous Swahili, you know, Simba, all of Lion King was basically Swahili names, and our language is very beautiful, so we need to take ownership of it and use it as much as we can too.
When you mentioned like kama Safari, hizo ni African names, lakini unapata ziko na patent to kama Disney.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. So ini so tricky kidogo. Lakini governments zinaweza fanya nini? When una feel kama mwenye uko hapa kwa industry, governments zinafaa kufanya nini ku take back hizo words, waseme hizi ni African, na tunafaa kuzitumia sisi.
Literally the same thing you said. I think they need to push back. And if they're going to be patenting our words, then we need to get paid for it somewhere or another. Bring the money back that you're making from it.
Speaking of other languages, when you come in, like in Canada, you most like you do like French. I thought you said you did some French in school.
Yeah. So
I've been arguing with some of my friends about a certain kind. Is it a dessert or I don't know, a bread? You know, I don't eat bread, so I don't know. Is it croissant or croissant?
You know what? I'm not French, but I say croissant. But stick with don't quote me.
Yeah, he has been bugging me. I don't know croissant.
Unajua mbona ukikwanga na stress hivi unaenda kukula makeki, ma ice cream, hizo ma dessert. Unajua mbona?
Kwa nini?
When you're stressed, ukiandika backwards.
Dessert.
So Christian, I wanted to ask, so like kuna trends hivi, like trends come and go, do you feel like these mambo jewelry, do you think kuna kitu consistent, and what's your favorite, like necklaces, earrings, what's your favorite jewelry? Yeah.
Okay, I like necklaces, but I actually just like all jewelry, to be honest. I think it just makes any outfit, plain sana, but add a little jewelry and you look like much more expensive. Yeah, the jewelry just makes the drip. I think when it comes to African jewelry, they are both trends, and then there's also some that are consistent. They're not going to go out of fashion because they're actually traditional Maasai designs. And they're standard and has changed. But then I find that nowadays there are also trends where and it's funny because the trends kind of transcend between the countries in Africa. So sometimes you find things that are traditional South Africans zimeanza kuzwa na kumixiwa na Masai style, that now it's like a new product now. Like these what are they called?
The shows.
Yes, the shawls. There's so many things that were traditionally South African, but now they're becoming more, you know, Masai or more Kenyan. I think it's beautiful. There's a lot of new Kenyan designers too who are also making it more modern, mixing it with Western styles.
Even shoes.
Right. So yeah, it's a bit of classic, a bit of modern twist.
But umai collab na ama umai consider collaborate with
wasanii wagani wa Kenya?
Like that.
Yeah, like design zako. Alafu na cheki unapenda design ya mse mwingine. Umai consider collab na yeye maybe
Oh yeah, for sure I have already. So there's some really big Kenyan designers that I work with. So I'm not gonna mention because now I'm telling my retailers away. but I do collab with a lot of Kenyan designers, and we create. You know, I draw something down or tell them how to blend the colors in, and they create it for me. It's nice working together, people. It's nice to also put money back in people's pockets back home.
Yeah, and is there any like artists you look up to, like when it comes in terms of jewelry and stuff? Yeah.
I wouldn't say artist, but I do look up to. There's one lady actually. She's Ghanaian Canadian, and she has a jewelry business too. Hers is called True Face by Grace, and she sells the same thing. But then her jewelry comes from all over Africa, and that's what I hope to get to at some point. Not only does she have like Kenyan jewelry, but she also has Ghanaian, South Africa, you know, from all over the place. And if I had that kind of level of connections, I would love to be at that level.
And are you looking to like integrate like clothwear?
Yes. So the thing about clothing is it requires a lot of, you know, storage and sizing, as opposed to jewelry. It's very, you know, something you just take and it's one size and it fits all. So clothing is something that I'm looking into. I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely looking into it in the future.
Kwanza hapo hivi hiyo clothing, kwanza siku hizi tangu nianze kudunga hii. Siku hizi drip haikuwa siku hizi.
I'm telling you, jewelry creates the drip.
Yeah, so jewelry, alafu hapa pia nimedunga sana. Hapa nimetesa. Yeah, manze, so niko na pick fire hapa moto nikitayarisha. So kuna ile place umesema ati unafeel wewe ni antisocial. So nikakumbuka siku fulani msee niliintroduce kwa msee akaniambia, hi, I'm antisocial but don't call me.
Nani akona maji? Leta maji. Wewe unaniuma.
Tuanze koredi. Kwanza unasikiza muziki gani?
Gengeton, Afrobeats, R&B.
Nasikiza Lingala. Rumba hivi.
Napenda rumba. Napenda Lingala lakini unajua sasa sijui the new stuff.
Oh, Lingala wachana na new stuff. Nasikiza wazee akina wenyewe.
Papa Wemba and stuff.
Papa Wemba, Madilu.
Kabisa. Sawa. Necklace or bracelet?
Necklace.
What's your favorite touring destination in Africa?
Mombasa. I haven't been to many places, but.
What's your favorite breakfast food?
Bacon.
What quote do you live by?
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Nice.
If you could get a yacht, what would you call it?
Chrissy XO.
What product will you not promote?
What product would I not promote? Anything bad. Anything that's defective.
What's one item that you could never live without?
Lip balm.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
I am adventurous, motivated, and kind.
Wow. Where is the worst place you could get stuck?
The worst place I could get stuck? In a snowstorm.
What's your lifelong dream?
Travel the world.
Oh, alafu tuko na concerts mbili. Moja ni ya Wizkid, nyingine ni ya Burna Boy. Unaenda hivi.
Burna Boy pole.
Wow.
I love Wizkid's music, but Burna Boy is a better for me.
Yeah. Tangu Burna Boy atuache hapa record. Watu wa pastor unajuaje sisi tulikuwa tumetravel kutoka huko kumwona hiyo siku. Tumebook ticket ya the next day.
Pole. Manze Christian, what does the future hold for Sanazuri?
Bigger and better. We're expanding, and yeah, I'm just hoping to keep it going, keep it growing. Hopefully we go worldwide.
Amen.
Inshallah. Manze kuna entrepreneurs wako huko nje wanadai kuanza na kuna wenye washaanza. Unaweza ambia nini?
When you're like once, just start. There's never going to be, a time where you feel ready. Just start, and things will work themselves out.
Kabisa.
Alafu before malize tunataka kujua sisi watu maybe tunataka kuslide kwa DM ama tunataka kujua penye kazi yako, tutapata wapi kazi yako, tunaweza kupata wapi?
So you can go on my Instagram, it's sana_Zuri. Or my Etsy where you can actually purchase. So it's www.etsy.com/shop/sanazuri.
Kabisa. Manze asante sana kwa kuja.
Thank you so much.
Happy conversation na wewe. Hopefully tutakuwa na episode nyingine. Cheki venye Sanazuri itakuwa imegrow zaidi na zaidi.
Amen.
Manze. So leo tufungie show.
So subscribe to Jamba Hydrated and get to hear more from these awesome guys. And make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe, and yeah, have a good one.
Na ununue drip huko
Sanazuri.
Till next week manze.
Yeah.
Adios muchachos.
Boom.